Hey there, Rivermen fans. I'm Jason Ruff. It's time for the latest edition of Trudel's Take, presented by Health Alliance. Jason Ruff joined once again, and as always, by Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudel. Guy, it's been a while. 2 weeks. The Rivermen have had a lot of time off following 3 games. How has it been for you?
It's been great. We needed that. We needed a little time off, a little team bonding, a little mini training camp, a lot of practice time, a lot of structure time. We needed it. We have a lot of new players, so it was nice to get everybody back on track and actually be able to breathe for a little bit. And now, finally, we're back at the Civic Center for practice also. We haven't been here for a long time here practice-wise. So it's going to be nice to be home, kind of get back on track. Big weekend coming up, 3 games against Quad City. So for us, it's exciting right now.
Certainly so. But before we get to all that, I want to take a look back at your last weekend series 2 weekends ago against Quad City and Evansville. A lot of close one-goal games. All 3 of those games decided by just 1 goal. We know you like to have a lot of easier games that don't give you so much anxiety down the stretch run. But when you're going into playoffs, a lot of those main playoff games going to be decided by 1 goal. Does it help to have so many close games in the lead up to playoffs to get the guys familiar with how to play in those tight situations?
Absolutely. Sometimes as coaches or players, we panic a little bit when it's a close score, and then you change things that you shouldn't change. And you just got to be patient in playoffs. And I always say play to the level of your training, and we train pretty hard here, and we have, we work on our structure daily. So for us, it's about making sure in those games that we stay patient, do what we do best. And I was really actually happy with that weekend. I thought we had a lot of consistency from our forwards. The ozone time, I think we doubled all 3 teams that weekend, and just had a great weekend of playing Rivermen way. Unfortunately, we hit goalies that were making pretty big saves all weekend, but that's going to also happen in the playoffs. So we got to make sure we find ways to manufacture goals, meaning like we need to funnel a little bit more F2, F3. We need, our screens are there, but not quite there. Always just a little bit off on everything. And our D rotations, where I thought our weak side D could rotate a little bit more. So things we had to work on this week. But overall, I was actually really happy with that weekend.
Absolutely. Now, despite, like you said, hit 2 hot goaltenders, both of those losses were just by 1 goal. Does that add any kind of motivation going into the bye week, going into this mini camp, in order to say to the boys, hey, we need to get better. Let's get better.
Yeah, it's that's where you learn the most, I guess, when you lose some games and when you're struggling at things in particular. So it's easy to kind of put your finger on it and work at it. And all week we talked about our scoring. We're doing really well offensively. We're moving the puck extremely well in the neutral zone. In the offensive zone, like I said, we have 16, 17 minutes of ozone time every single game. But now it's about finishing. We got to make sure we finish. So that starts in the drills. We got to finish every drill the right way. And I think the boys really bought into it the last week and a half. And it's been great. It's been nice to see the boys really going, really getting back to what we are. And, human nature, when you clinch so early and you have a big lead, I think it's hard to find your why. Why am I doing this right now? Because we already clinched. We're already in a good spot. So it's about finding that motivation to keep pushing, to do what we have to do to finish the year strong, to make sure we have good habits in the playoffs.
Let's talk about this mini camp. The Rivermen had the entire week off, had a lot of 2-hour practices focusing on just specific aspects of the game. Guy, can you tell us a little bit about how this mini camp kind of progressed, and how do you think the energy was on the ice? Because that's a lot of time to have the guys out on ice 2 hours every day.
It is, but at the same time, we had Monday, Tuesday off. Then we started our mini camp Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But we always had team bondings, and the team was nice enough. We had a nice team dinner at a steakhouse. We had axe throwing, so we always had something at night to kind of make it fun also. So we didn't want to do it all work. We wanted to make sure that we had fun and bonded as a team also. Because like I said, a lot of new faces that just got here 3-4 weeks ago. A lot of guys not knowing each other. We haven't had a long road trip to kind of sit down and have dinners together. So this week was just great. And then they had the rookie party, I think, on Saturday. So they had a lot of fun there. So for me, it was not only about structure and getting everything back on track, but also for the guys to kind of get to know each other. Because if you're going to go to war in the playoffs, you got to make sure that you like the person beside you. And for us, that's what we want to try to accomplish with this week. And I think we did. I think the boys are a lot closer, having a lot more fun. The life is a lot more. And I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel also. We're seeing the playoffs coming. coming. That makes it a lot more exciting. And the dark days of the Midwest is almost behind us. Hopefully another week, and then we'll get sun going, and then the boys are just going to pick it up from there.
Put a pin in that because I want to circle back to something earlier that you said. You mentioned the new faces on this team and some guys that have not played in quite a while. How beneficial was this mini camp in order to get guys reps, in order to either reinforce or reintroduce them to concepts of what you want to see from them out on the ice?
Yeah, it was great. A lot of guys that were, injured reserve, a lot of guys coming back, a lot of new guys that we, it's easy to explain on video, but then after that to really do it in game situation and see it live was a lot different. So I think it was great reps. And like you said, we kind of really just worked on one aspect every day. Even our skill drill or our flow drill were really on that point that we wanted to emphasize on. So I think it was a great week to kind of, like you said, reintroduce. And we didn't get a chance to go through everything, but at least we got some good, we have 3 or 4 things in Peoria. If we do really well, we're really hard to beat. And I think those are the things that we wanted to emphasize on for everybody to be on the same page.
Circling back, taking the pin out of that last comment that you made mention of how close this team is. How close do you really think this team is compared to when we last saw them 2 weeks ago?
We've always had a great locker room. I just felt like we needed work, but mostly fun. Yeah. I think we were squeezing our sticks lately. It was a little bit negative around here because, in Peoria, when we don't win every time we get, it's pretty hard. We have expectations. We have a culture to withstand, and I don't think we were doing that. And then, as a coach or as even a staff, you're not, you shouldn't be happy. Yeah. To not play the way you're supposed to, and especially like you said, our identity. We know the 3-4 things we do really well, and we have to have everybody doing it every single day for us to be successful. And I thought this week was absolutely phenomenal.
And you're often fond of saying that when you bring guys in, especially this time of year, it's all about finding the right pieces to the puzzle. You've brought in a number of pieces, including Vadim Vestjonkin, who is a veteran of both the Vermilion County Bobcats and the Birmingham Bulls. Tell us about your new acquisitions and how do you potentially see them fitting into the grand puzzle?
Just a great leader, great guy. He was a captain of his college team, V and Vadim, and I'm, you look for certain things like every team. Some teams need a right-handed shot D. We feel like we need a left-handed shot forward right now to kind of our roster, and so we brought in Vadim to see what he's all about. I liked him when he was in Vermilion. I think he skates really well for a big guy, and he's a net front guy on the power play. There's a lot of things that I like about his game, and now it's for him to show us in games in front of our eyes, because tape can only say so much. After that, you have to see him in front of you if they can kind of fit into your program. Then today we got the kid Jack Jonich that we brought in on a PTO, so I'm excited. I've been working on that kid for probably a year and a half. I've been watching video on that kid, and I love his motor. He reminds me of a righty Steve Mora, like we used to have, just that never stops, just chases pucks, and he goes all the time. And, a little Benny Assad, just bigger size a little bit. And that's, in the playoff, that's what you need. You need your second, third efforts. You need guys that won't quit on pucks. You need guys that are going to, as soon as we lose the puck, are going to reload the right way. So he's the type of guy I wanted to bring in and see what he's all about also. So I'm excited we have a lot of players here right now, but I'm excited to see how they do.
Certainly so. Well, you're also fond of saying that 3-game series often need to be taken as quasi-playoff series. 3 straight games, 2 at home, 1 on the road against the Quad City Storm. There's a chance, Guy, the Rivermen could play Quad City in the first round of the playoffs if things work out the right way. But how much of this series are you going to be taking as a measuring stick for your team in a potential playoff scenario, especially coming off of this minicamp?
I'm not there yet.
Not there yet?
No, I just want the boys to be consistent. Like I said, if we can find that from every single player on our team, every game, just to be consistent in what we do well, that's kind of what we're looking for right now. And I felt like we had a good start last weekend. Well, 2 weekends ago when we played our 3-3, I felt like the Halleck Agaman and Marcel Galbaut started to be consistent. They're not scoring, but I don't care about that. That's going to come with consistency, with doing the right things every single day. So for me, that's what because like I said, we're lucky. We're in a pretty good spot right now. So I'm just looking to build our players to be, and don't get me wrong, we want to win every game. Of
course.
But we want guys just to do the right things. I don't want to win and have half the team not showing up or not doing the right things or kind of just doing their own program. I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And I saw it a little bit last weekend. We played some extremely good hockey, but I just want to see it again and again and again. And we have 3 more weekends before the playoffs, so we got to make sure we do it right.
Yep, the countdown to the postseason begins. 8 more games for the Rivermen in the regular season. It all begins this Friday here at Carver Arena against the Quad City Storm. It is 70s night, presented by CSL Plasma. The Rivermen will be wearing specialty tie-dyed uniforms that will be auctioned off at the conclusion of the game. Plus, the first 1,000 fans through the doors will receive a free Rivermen lanyard, courtesy of our friends at Unity Point Health. The Rivermen will be on the road on Saturday before coming back for our final Sunday Family Fun Day. $7 Upper Bowl Kids tickets, pre-game fan fest, plus a post-game skate with the team. Face off for Sunday's game at 3:15 p.m. Should be a fun weekend. Guy, last question. We all know what your favorite 70s song is, thanks to the video we put out early in the week. But now I have to ask, what is your favorite 70s movie? And I'm willing to go first if you want a second to think about it.
Go ahead, my friend.
My favorite 70s movie is the original Star Wars, now known as Star Wars Episode 4: New Hope, released in 1977. Guy?
I'm an athlete.
Yeah.
I got to go for my boy. Rocky Balboa, 1976.
There you go.
Poof, Rocky. Love it, man.
Love it.
Even the bad ones he made, like
Yeah.
Rocky 4 or 5, I still love it, man. I still love every single Rocky movie. There's just something about it. And now I got Jimmy Lou at home starting to watch him.
There you go.
And he's hooked on Rocky right now.
Have you watched any of the, at least the first 2 Creed movies? Have you seen
I
any of
did,
those?
and I like them. I really enjoyed them. They're awesome. So for me, anything that kind of pumps you up is a good movie, and don't need to think too much about it. Just a good old fashioned boxing movie.
Helps when you have a good score on that movie franchise too. Huh?
I love it, man. You can't go wrong with that guy, man. Rockies, Rambos, whatever you want to call it. I just love them all.
Certainly so. Guy, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you again this week.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it.
It's been Jason Ruff with Rivermen head coach Jean-Guy Trudel for your weekly edition of Trudel's Take, presented by Health Alliance. We'll see you next time, Rivermen fans.